Everyone, today I want to talk about my qualitative study proposal. My topic is the attitude and the experience of parents in teaching the table manners for the preschoolers across cultures. My focus will be American culture and Chinese culture. For most of people, going to restaurant is kind of dry and relaxing because they can enjoy the delicious food, beautiful music, and nice chatting. If you are parents of young children, that may be a different story because they need to avoid their young children disturbing other people in the restaurant. They need to stop their running, screaming, and keep them in appropriate table manners at public place. In social activity, people, including the young children, they are expecting to follow some social rules of dining. It calls table manners. Different cultures have different kind of table manners. For example, some Western countries, they may use spoon and forks to getting the food, but other countries, like China, they use the chopsticks. For Japanese, they think making noise when they eating noodles is kind of pride, but for other countries, they may feel is implied to making noise. But do you know that eating is a very important social activity? According to Kentucky's early childhood standards for the children from 3 to 5 years old, the children need to learn some social skills related to table manners. For example, they have to master the skills of washing hands, using the spoon or the fork, or keeping inside wise in the room. To improve the social skills related to eating, many researchers have begun to employ some social intervention related to table manners to teach some appropriate social interaction and decrease some inappropriate social interactions. For example, they are teaching how to use the utensil and the napkin, how to interact with others. Also, they are targeted at some inappropriate social interaction like talking by the young children and making noise in the public place. From those studies, we find that most intervention they are in play at the school setting with the children with disability or the developmental delays. But for the typical children, there are limited research to talk about that. Also, compared to the school setting, parents plays a more important role to introduce the table manners related to their own culture. So, the purpose of this study is to describe the cultural difference, mainly the Chinese culture and the American culture, in what ways that parents teach their young children table manners. For this study, the participants will be some Chinese and American parents. Their children is at preschool age, 3 to 5 years old. The children with disability or development delay will be excluded in this study. The main study includes two processes. The first one is the observation in the restaurant. The second one is the direct interview with the parents. After data collecting and analysis, we found that there are some common table manners being observed and mentioned by the parents. For the both cultures, the Chinese parents and the American parents, they are all expecting their children use utensils appropriately and staying on their seat quietly. According to the American parents, she said that she is teaching her girl don't talk with the full mouth And also, don't eat the food from the table, especially from the restaurant. The Chinese parents mentioned that she want her girl be clean during the eating and wash her hand before and after eating. When the parents talking about their experience of teaching table manners, both Chinese and American parents suggest that teaching table manners should start as early as possible, probably 1 or 2 years old, while children begin to learn how to eat independently. Also, they provide many suggestions or examples of methods they use to teach. For example, modeling, negative reinforcement, video watching, providing activity during waiting. American parents talk about how they model inside wise for the young children and practice at home so the children can be quiet in the restaurant. The Chinese parents talk about they bring the children to the fish tent in the restaurant and talk about that, spend time with the fish so the children can have some activity while they are waiting for the food. For the resource they can get to help them to teach their children, the American parents talking about their family support and also the online resource. She said that she have a Facebook group so she can post the question online and have a discussion with other parents. Both Chinese parents and the American parents talk about the school. They have the observing in the school, so they learn from the school how they have the table manners at school and they collaborate in the home setting. To be honest, conducting qualitative study is a new experience for me. I learned a lot from this project. The first thing I learned is the importance of researcher's personality. When I reflect my position, I realize my previous experience of study and working have a very important influence on my creative thinking. A lack of thinking of my position, attitude, value may lead to the limitation of the research area and consideration of sampling. For example, my position as a preschool teacher may lead to the different attitude or views about how to teach table manners, which is totally different with the parents. Secondly, the multiple source of data open up a new world for me. Instead of only thinking the number as the data, I realized that any products or document in the daily life, they can also become the evidence for the researcher to support their investigation. They can become the strong and the natural evidence for the scientific studies. Third, I learned how to consider the validity and the reliable from different ways, such as triangulation and member checking. The most impressive way for me is the think description. In data analysis of quantitative study, they use a lot of summary of the number or the statistic analysis. However, what can be the best data except the participants' overall behavior? The detail and the extensive description from the parents is very invaluable, which will help the reader to understand the complex and the real setting and their self.